So, did porn help you with your self-validation?
Absolutely.
So now you feel fulfilled?
Absolutely. Like all these years that I spent with my eating habits and stuff, that caused me a lot of issues having sex. Because you have to have a person touching you, being physically close to you. And I got so scared of people finding out that I was a skeleton that I avoided human contact. And I really had it was years I didn't have any sexual interaction at all, because I was just worried that even if I was dancing in Village, for example, and was on stage, as soon as people touched me, I was worried that they would be like, oh, he's a skeleton.
Wow. We don't know you that well. Tell us about yourself. Where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Sweden, but I moved here to London about 12 years ago.
Were you into fitness already at that time?
So I started to teach a lot of fitness classes in a gym already when I was 16.
Wow, that's impressive. Then from Gymbox, you were doing classes there, which were absolutely amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And then COVID happened.
Yep.
And you were doing this live Instagram.
Yeah.
We used to do his workouts when we were in Russia.
When we were in Russia doing surrogacy, and our daughter was born in St. Petersburg, but we were locked there for 4 months.
Oh, wow.
And my sister was also doing that, but she was in Kazakhstan.
Yeah, I
And she
remember.
was always waiting for your class, and we would message to each other, okay, are you doing this 2 p.m. class? She's like, yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
She's a big fan as well.
It was that was so crazy, because obviously when they announced the lockdown here, I remember it so well. I was like, it's going to be 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was so that was in my head. So when they messaged me saying, can you do some home workouts? And I'm like, yeah, but I'm going back to work next Monday. And then that didn't happen. So then Gymbox, the manager, messaged me and saying, hey, can you do some online sessions? And I'd never done anything like that before.
Yeah.
I was always so nervous. I mean, Gymbox has a massive follower, and they're so clever when it comes to marketing, and the team is amazing. It's one of the best gyms I ever worked for. And every single time I logged on, there was 3, 4, 5,000 people who joined my sessions.
Oh, wow.
And standing in your living room, and you see the numbers increasing, and you see all the comments, and everyone's like, yay, we're doing this with you.
5,000.
I think it was between 3,000, 4,000 people every
crazy.
session. And I have some videos still, because I was doing jumping jacks on one video, and my shorts just splitted, and I was not having any underwear on, and I had to run out, and then because you couldn't stop it. No, and then obviously, because we did it for quite long, we did it for a couple of months.
Fair. Nick, I want to ask you, I don't think I've ever been to Sweden. What is the gay life there like? How is it different from the UK?
Oh, it's a massive difference. Sweden is 10 million people. So it's the same as London.
Yeah.
Spread in a massive area. People move to London because the gay life here is more interesting. And for that reason, there is a variation of entities that you can go to, the clubs, bars, the events and everything. Obviously, with a smaller amount of people, you can't do the same variation.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of gay bars and gay clubs, but they are very mainstream, because here you can go quite extreme and you can still have a very big audience. Sweden is very open-minded.
Yeah.
However, when you come to London, everything is crazy here because there is a much bigger audience.
Are you openly gay to your family?
Oh yeah. I don't have any of, everyone has their, when I came out, stories. Because I've been gay since I was born, and my parents knew. And it was always very natural to talk about it. My mom was very fascinated about drag shows. It was very natural in my upbringing to be gay, trans, drag. It was never ever, it was just
Be who you wanted to be sort of thing.
Yeah. My mom and dad, I think they raised me in a way as well, you should allow people who you do you, they do they. You don't have to like and understand everyone. You just need to respect that we are all different.
So speaking of that,
yeah.
So how my sister knows you is not only from the gym, but also when she was visiting me in London, we went to a village and I think she saw you there as a dancer.
Yes.
What were other hustles that you were doing in parallel?
So when I was at Gymbox, a lot of my colleagues there did some side events. And they asked me one day, like, hey, can you dance? Because you teach dance classes. We need a go-go dancer for village. And I was like, fine, I can do that. And they asked me to put a pair of Speedos on, stand on the podium, dance for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I had so much fun. So I started to do that. I think I did it like 3-4 times a week. You get quite a lot of exposure when you do go-go dancing and stuff like that. And you've been contacted by photographers doing collaboration shoots. So can I do a photo shoot with you? I need this, And there is one guy, I saw him on Instagram. His name is Alberto Castle. He's a fantastic photographer. And his shoots, I get goosebumps just talking about it because he's so talented. And I was like, one day I'm going to ask him if he can photograph me because I want that. When I get old, I want to have one good photo of myself. Because very often when you go to a photo shoot, you see the photos and you judge yourself a little bit. But I saw like everything was so beautiful what he did.
Was it like nude photography?
Yeah, it's always guys. And it was always like you wanted to sleep with every single person he photographed. I call it the world of Alberto because like this is another world of people. After COVID, I decided I'm going to start doing the gym. I'm going to focus on the gym.
Yeah.
Because I have a history of eating problematics and I got really good help for it. It still goes up and down, but it's been to a point when I nearly got hospitalized. And it was a point when I also had to start asking myself, like, what am I doing and why? And I got this Brazilian lady who taught me so much about myself. And I just said to myself, I have 2 ways to go now. Either I go to the gym every time I'm frustrated by life, or I'm going to end up in a corner where I don't want to be. So I started to gym, I started to lift, and I find a love for lifting, like in a different way. I gained quite a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And I gained 20 kilos.
Wow.
But that's muscle, yes?
Yeah, most of it.
Because I remember when we like started, we knew you and so on. You were like a lot leaner then, really toned and everything.
Yeah. So obviously a lot of people have reached out and say, why are you doing this to your body? You looked so good when you were lean. Why are you being so bulky now? And why are you eating so much? And I was very lean then, and I was 65 kilos-ish. I lived on black coffee and eggs because I was terrified of adding fat into my system. And I literally I was just running on adrenaline because I didn't eat properly. I was terrified of having fat on my body to a point where, you stop pinching yourself every day and then you allow yourself a glass of wine, but then you spin 3 hours the day after in order to make sure the calories from the wine is out of your system.
Wow.
So looking at the photos, I was very unhealthy at that time, but also work-wise, I was so good at hiding it. So everyone always been surprised. And when I started to reach out for help, the one thing I discovered very quickly was everyone was always, oh, but you're so fit. You have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
You look great. And it minimized the feeling of having, okay, I'm not allowed to feel this way. I was literally always suppressing it.
Yeah.
Because I was worried that I got accused for, what's it called?
Like attention seeking sort of thing?
People said oh, you just want me to say that you look good.
Yeah.
And it was really hurtful, and it made it really hard to actually get to the point where you get help for it.
Yeah.
So when I look back at the pictures and photos before COVID, I was wondering how I survived, to be honest, because it was a little bit unhealthy.
Oh, I feel bad now because I had a massive crush on you. Like I used to, literally, when you and Azamat first got together is when we started going to your classes. And weekly, I would tell him I was going to throw him out and move you in.
Oh,
And every Friday night, Azamat would only want to go to bars where there was drag queens performing.
yeah.
And the condition was I would go, but we had to go and watch you dancing for at least one drink. And that was the rule every Friday.
That was fun. The village time was amazing. It was so much fun.
Nick, I'm still trying to process what you just shared, so thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
So I'm still trying to understand better what was the cause for feeling that you always need to look good and lean.
So obviously, this is kind of like a little bit heavy subject, but I'm suffering from quite severe body dysmorphia.
Okay.
And my fear has always been adding fat. And also, I was always really worried about being so skinny.
Yeah.
I wanted to gain weight, but at the same time, every time I was eating, I had to burn it off.
And where does this body dysmorphia come from?
I don't know if it's in your system as you've been formed by the society or not. The gay community is a quite hard community. I remember dancing at Village, for example. I got a lot of comments about being a little bit too slim.
Okay.
Oh, you would look so much better if you were having muscles. I would definitely date you if you were a little bit muscly. And people said that to me very often.
Mm.
And you hear it and you pick up on it. And then I started to work out. And all of a sudden,
The world changed towards you.
yeah. So dancing at Village, 65 kilos, everyone was telling me like, I want to you, put your face down the mattress and up. I want to you. I gained 20 kilos and all of a sudden it's like, daddy me. Oh, I want to like, you want to do this with me. Can you do this? So people's expectations of my preference changed a lot. And I think I got a little bit triggered by it in the beginning. And I was like, wow, I made it to 70 kilos and people started to commenting on me being a little bit muscly and I made it to 75. It obviously get into unhealthy in the different direction.
Yeah.
So if you've been on one really far end, and maybe I'm on the other end right now and maybe I just calm down with the training a little bit in a couple of years.
Wow.
So just one step back. I'm sorry I'm digging into this heavy conversation with you, but you're coming from the family that accepted you as being gay. So you felt absolutely comfortable in your skin from the beginning. Then you arrived to London and there is this a little bit toxic culture when people, choose you and you need to be likable, right? And you understood that, okay, if I want to get laid and be likable, etc., I need to have certain standards.
Yeah.
And those standards that you created in your head were, I need to look very lean, six pack, and then you were sticking to that standard to be likable and to be wanted, right?
Yeah. I never thought about it this way. It is very interesting because when you say it, it feels like you're hitting a spot. It's like, it's true.
And then you say that you are letting yourself go, but you're not letting yourself go. You are now transitioning to the next level of likability, which is becoming muscly guy.
Yeah.
So it's not letting go, it's pushing even further the needle, right? To be even more likable.
No, it's funny when you say like muscly guy, because I still see myself as petite. I still think I look very similar. And I always compare myself with all these muscle guys and I'm thinking one day I'm going to look like that. Wow. That is like what my mind is. I still spiral in one way or another and it can go into, I am way too skinny. I need to eat. I need to do. And it could be quite destructive sometimes. You can get into your head and you skip everything else. Nothing matter rather than this goal. And that is probably a result of the community, but I also think I always been very focused on being on top of things and I'm not great with bad feedback. If someone say I would prefer this or that song shouldn't have been played, I'm always analyzing it and be like, I need to do a better playlist. I need to do it a better class. I need to perform. And I think it's the same with my gym physique and I just wanted to make better.
Would you agree that because we're all coming to London, right, and we see such a big variety of different type of men, and we all aspire to be, let's imagine we're all in animal kingdom and I'm a monkey, right?
Yeah.
And I came to London, and these guys who I see are lions, right? And I'm trying so hard to be a lion. And to be a lion, I need to work out 10 times a day, like do all of this stuff, because I just want to be that lion, right? And it's like never ending story because I will never be a lion. But I can be a nice monkey and maybe be the best monkey.
This is the thing, like when I look at people in general, especially when we're talking about when I do scenes now, when I do filming, everyone's always talking about what type of guys are you going for, blah, blah, blah. I don't really look at it that way on others than myself, to be honest.
You don't have a type?
I have a lot of types.
I have a lot of types.
It's so funny because once again, a lot of people who see photos or videos of me assume that I am someone, that this is what he prefers. And often I get messages because after I did my first scene with Sean Cody, I probably received 600 messages from random people. And it was
like DMs on Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Was it exciting?
Yeah, no, it was very overwhelming. And still today, I try to keep up on Instagram. People interact with me by direct message or on stories.
Does it feel intrusive? Like the messages?
No, it's more like I feel sorry for not answering everyone. I feel a little bit, I go in and I try to like, because I don't want anyone to feel like I ignore them. Because I would hate to send a message to someone being like, hey, you look amazing. And I'd be like,
not replying.
No, and even if it's just a little like, I'm trying.
Because I think it probably takes a lot of courage to go in and message someone looking like you, because you look amazing.
Thank you.
To go in there and like almost like going up to someone in a bar and introducing yourself.
Yeah.
It can be quite an intimidating thing. And I find with social media, there's two types. There's people that will be inappropriate.
Yeah.
Or there's people that do it because they're genuinely nice. And I think the ones that are sending nice messages and so on, it takes a lot for them to do it. So I guess you replying means a lot.
Yeah, there is a few times I have people who message me saying a good, nice thing and I liked it. Or maybe I message back, thank you, that's so kind of you to say.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get a longer message and then you get a little reply to them. And then you get another message that is on a different subject, whatever. And maybe then this day, for example, you had 300 messages already.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have a job.
Yeah.
So then you like it or something like that. And from nowhere, you can then get, oh, you're selfish, you're ignorant. How can you ignore my message? Why didn't you reply? And when you read that, you're like, no, what happened? Why? I didn't say anything. You get really confused.
And how do you feel when that happens?
I realize I can't control how other people feel. And I have to let that go. If anyone get upset about the actions of me on Instagram, I have to just take a deep breath and be like, it's out of my hands.
Because Instagram's not you. You're you. Instagram is it's a storyboard.
Yeah.
I know when we started our brand, we used to get quite a few people when we were running adverts on social media where they would put homophobic comments. And I would get so angry.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, replying. But I'd have like a 20-line reply. And I would take it really, really personal. And I worked on it like, just let go. It's none of your business what these people are saying. You know, the bad stuff, just ignore it. The good stuff is good there to be enjoyed. Do you get people just sending you pics and inappropriate stuff like that and they feel that's okay?
If I had £1 for every pic, I mean, I would be a millionaire. And I can say this straight away, keep sending them. It's a very common thing. And I think it's a quite fun thing to do, like broadcast yourself a little bit, show off.
Interesting.
I don't get offended at all by it. Some of the photos I get sent sometimes, I'm like, the angle is a bit questionable.
Why would you send that sort of thing?
Yeah, and I'm also wondering, like, did anyone take that? Because you must...
How did you get in that angle? Yeah.
So sometimes it's a little bit like, but I guess it's a different type of artist.
Just one step back. So people are sending you pics all the time.
Yes.
Like, it's like not hello something. It's just straight away.
Obviously, I've done scenes for Sean Cody. I've done scenes for Lucas Entertainment. I have an OnlyFans, and people seen photos and videos of me. And I assume that might have a little bit of a session by themselves sometimes. And I think some people connect with me that way. And then they like feel like, oh, I want to send him my pic.
Okay.
As I said, like, I just sometimes when I'm sitting in a restaurant with a friend or something like that, and I get a message, I obviously stop doing that now. But I remember I was in New York with my friend. We sat having lunch and I got a message and I was like, oh, it's a video. And I clicked on it while the waitress was taking our order. Then it was like bang all over the telephone, the screen. And I was so embarrassed. But at the same time, what can you do?
We get lots of them where people will, because we have it. Our social media is done by 4 ladies, and there's 2 guys that work on it as well. And I'm always, whenever we bring someone new into the team or something, I'm always like really awkward training them. Because I'm like, I have to take this girl, sit her down, and I'll be like, so you're going to get messages and it's going to look like this. Or with the agency who help us run the actual campaigns for our social media and so on. Whenever you're first talking to them, you're like, okay, well, I better pre-warn you what you're going to see. I personally hate it. I just think, how dare you send that? I shouldn't be able to send that without someone's permission.
I think it's different when it comes to women and men there, because like if a guy sends a pic to me, I see it this way. Imagine this person laying in his bed or sitting in his room and be like, I'm going to take a photo of my and I'm going to send it to Zak because I watched this video.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of courage to take a photo of yourself naked and actually send it to someone.
Why does it take a lot of courage?
Because you showing off parts of your body. Don't you think they're a little bit nervous sometimes and wondering how they're going to react?
Yeah, I fully get why.
And then people get angry about that.
Oh, I would be angry. Like, so women.
Have you seen my pics?
No, but please send them.
Yeah.
Start with the low first. At least know I want them. I always think about it more in relation to women than gay men.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe for me, I find it intrusive. I always think, well, what if someone sent that to my sister or my mother? And I just think I
find that I think is a little bit offensive.
But it's the same thing.
No, but
you're taking the assumption that you're allowed to send that to someone unsolicited and that they want it.
Yeah, but I do porn.
Sure.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I'm allowed to send you my pic unless you're telling me I can't.
I think he gave permission already by exposing himself.
I'm not saying that everyone who is
That's it. You're going to walk out here, you're going to have 7,000 of them.
No, but I'm also going to have everyone in the industry telling me, why did you say that? I don't see it as offensive at all. I can choose to delete it or I can choose to recognize it.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, there's the same thing there, like, be proud of your and show it.
I am.
Yeah.
I am. It's the one part of my body I am proud of.
Yay.
To finish conversation about pics, is it mostly people who have big? Is there a pattern?
No, it's a mix. I don't know why, but people are a little bit more obsessed when it comes to size. The bigger, the better is for some reason very normal. I don't understand why, because I think the bigger, the more painful.
Okay.
I see a variation of all sizes and lengths and bends and
nooks and crannies.
Yeah, how they trim and everything. My favorite pic is taken by Alberto, the Italian photographer.
Okay.
And taken by him, or it was his?
No, by him. I was in the studio and he took the photo.
Oh, well, you're a favorite.
Yeah.
One.
So one of them I'm soft, one of them I'm hard. And he was like, shall we post it online? And I was like, no one's going to see this, because I was a bit shy about that. And then I looked at it and why not? Just post it. So I posted it on Twitter. And a few weeks after that, I was contacted by Sean Cody and be like, hey, do you want to do porn? And I was like, no, I don't do porn. And then I was thinking about it, like, I've done this photo. Why am I not saying yes to this? So there was never a plan to go into porn. It was just Alberto who took that photo and I really liked it. I can send it to you.
Okay, please do.
No, and then obviously Sean Cody contacted me to do scenes with them.
When did you start with Sean Cody?
Sean Cody, my first scene I did last summer. It was released in September.
Okay.
To anyone who goes into porn, prepare yourself. It's so hard.
Really?
Oh, I thought like I could just rock up there and have sex and then leave.
Okay, yeah.
That was my thought of it. 11 hours on a flight, I checked into my hotel. I woke up 1 a.m. and I couldn't fall back to sleep. A little bit nervous. They picked me up at 10. I thought, let's have a little kick before I do this. I had a really strong black coffee and I got a caffeine shake from hell. So when I was signing the contract, I couldn't hold my pen and they were like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, it's just I had a cup of coffee. I was so embarrassed. And then they will be like, okay, let's get naked and start. And I was there, I was ready. He wasn't.
Okay.
I was like, well, that have never happened to me ever before. I get hard.
Just the breeze coming in the window.
And I literally started to panic and I'm like, oh no, this is not working. The guy I did the scene with, like, no stress, I'm waiting. And then basically everyone's just sitting in the studio waiting for you to get a hard on and it doesn't work. And it was so stressful. They were so nice about it. It was so calm. But I just wish I was more prepared.
How many people are in that room?
Depending on. So when I did Sean Cody, there was 2 camera guys.
Okay.
And one of them was the director as well. And the partner I do the scene with. I was with Lucas Entertainment in November in Malaga. And we were in a big villa. And while they do shooting the scene, you're sitting there having your breakfast and a little bit of coffee. So there's so much more people around it. But for example, that trip is one of the absolute best. Sean Cody, was amazing because the people were so nice and I met really nice guys. Everyone treated me so well. It was my performance. When I saw the first video, I was literally like, shall I call them and ask if they want a refund?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I felt bad for my performance. But then it can only be better. With when I went to Lucas Entertainment, it was also like a different dynamic of the group because every night we all went for a drink or 2 together. We went to the gym together. And then they was like, okay, guys, you're going to do the scene. So you already knew each other a little bit.
It's kind of fun, yeah?
Yeah.
Is it a sexually charged environment? When I watch porn, I always imagine that the cameraman at the end is almost getting in on it. Because I imagine the cameraman to be gay. Then I imagine he's watching these 2 hot guys having sex.
Yeah.
And then so he's probably turned on. And so in my head, I have this whole after story that happens after the movie. But now the way you're describing it, it sounds almost like it's not actually a sexually charged environment at all.
It's a work environment still.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell if you do a scene and you're not connecting with that person.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at it, you could be a little bit like, yeah, we didn't really connect. My second scene with Sean Cody, for example, I did with a guy called Levi. I love him. I was there and I was thinking, please marry me. He's so handsome. And when I left, because I went to New York after to see my friend, and I was like, I can't leave her. This is it. He's never going to marry me. He was already married, but that is another story. I got so attached to him because he was so handsome. I just fell in love with him.
So back to the first scene that you had with Sean Cody, and you were struggling to make it work. How did you make it work?
I didn't make it work. The Sean Cody team made it work. I think I calmed down a little bit, and Scott, the guy I did the scene with, said, okay, we were in the gym. I'm going to you like this, and then I'm going to leave you. So they changed the script.
Sorry, so
we were supposed
originally you were supposed to be a top, but then you were bottom.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
So they just flipped it. And the day after, I was more calm, but I was signed up with Levi and he was already signed as a top.
So now you are bottom.
So both of the scenes for Sean Cody, I'm bottoming.
Yeah.
For everything else, I'm topping.
So because now you've learned the lesson how to make it work?
I think you need to be prepared for the scene and you need a sleep. You need to eat properly. So you need to make sure your body is 100%. If I would go to do a bigger production again, I would be there for like 1 day before. So I'm literally like, I'm in the hotel, I'm calm, blah, blah, blah. And that way I know that I can perform.
Do you choose the partners who you are
Not always.
with?
Not always.
Okay. But do you know at least a couple of days in advance? Do you show your preferences? How does that all work, the matching?
Does an iPad you scroll through?
No.
Tinder.
My first scene I did with Sean Cody, I was supposed to do it with a guy who had an accident in the gym, so he cancelled. So Scott was a replacement. The first guy was a very cute little Latino boy. And when I came to the set, it was this big muscly Scott, if you've seen him. He's still gorgeous. He's beautiful. So I'm not saying that. And he's really nice. He's like this teddy bear that you just want to hug. He helped me so much that day. But I had no idea who to film with. And then they said to me, tomorrow you're filming with Levi. And this is his profile.
So how long is the shooting? And do you actually have any pleasure when you're doing it?
Yeah. First day, I wouldn't say that I felt much because obviously I was in my head. The other day, they released one of the scenes with Julio from Lucas Entertainment. That was fantastic, in my opinion, because I really enjoyed every minute of it. So I think it's also like when you let go and just allow yourself to have fun on a set, you actually enjoy it.
Is it preset in the way that you are, okay, now you're doing this scene, stop. Now we're doing this scene, stop. Now you can finish, ejaculate, right? Is that how it works?
Pretty much. You get an idea of what they want you to do. Obviously, then you can improvise a little bit. But very often you do some photos first. So you have to stand there with your heart on, pretending to have sex for the photos. And then you redo the scene.
And how long does it last, all the shooting?
The first day, I was on set between 11 and 5. So I was like bottoming for a lot of hours. It was really intense.
Why? Why does it take so long to shoot how
because
you bottom?
I was useless.
How can you be useless when you're bottoming?
No, but
I thought that you were laying there just
thinking of Queen and Country.
It was just like, as I said, I was really stressed. Second day was much easier. You do photos and then it takes like 3-4 hours. But normally the filming is about 2 hours.
How is it different to OnlyFans?
So when I do OnlyFans, I have done a few films where I have a static camera because people like that. But I also have guys who help me filming it.
Yeah.
Because I find the dynamic, the flow looks better.
Yeah.
I'm still new to OnlyFans.
Okay.
I started my account a year ago now, but I only have photos for the first month. And I didn't post any videos until I was with Sean Cody. I like, for example, I went to New York and I did collaborations with a company called New York Seed. So they basically have a team helping you to video record your sex scenes.
Yep.
I did a lot of work with them, and that sort of stuff is still the cameras, lighting, but you use it for your OnlyFans. So I think that material, in my opinion, looks better.
Yeah.
I did a group scene. We were 5 guys. It was so much fun because everyone came and we were like doing that. And
everyone came.
Yeah, everyone came. No, but, and then obviously like we met in the bar later, having a drink.
So I have an opinion of OnlyFans. I imagine it's more like you're actually really having sex with people, because you're like, you get to choose more who you get to collaborate with.
Yeah.
Whereas, and I guess it feels less because it's not on a set. It's normally like in a hotel or a house, I assume, and so on. So you just feel more relaxed and it's just like 2 guys having sex then.
Yeah.
Or do you it still feels pretty structured?
No, I think OnlyFans is easier to do than the big scenes.
I've always been super interested in this. So I think people, and I could be wrong, I'm probably wrong, people make loads of money from OnlyFans. I guess my question is, do they take a massive cut or you just pay a service fee?
It's like 20% or something.
Of everything you make, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess not too bad.
No, I have between 450, 500 followers a month.
And each pay £10 a month?
$10.
$10.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very grateful for all my followers, and I'm very grateful because I get lots of messages. Same thing that I don't get many likes on stuff. I always get messages.
They're busy with other things.
What?
They're too busy with other things when they're looking at it to be liking.
I think it's to be discreet. Because if you like, then your friends might see that you like that porn actor. Whereas if you DM,
private.
Yeah, I think so too, to be honest. I didn't want to say it first, but I think that is the thing.
So did porn help you with your self-validation?
Absolutely.
So now you feel fulfilled?
Absolutely. Like all these years that I spent with my eating habits and stuff. So that caused me a lot of issues having sex, because you have to have a person touching you, being physically close to you. And I got so scared of people finding out that I was a skeleton that I avoided human contact. And I really had, like, it was years I didn't have any sexual interaction at all, because I was just worried that even if I was dancing in Village, for example, and was on stage, as soon as people touched me, I was worried that they would be like, oh, he's a skeleton.
Wow.
I obviously struggled. And then the second day, but I felt so powerful, because I was like, if I can actually do this, I felt like, wow, I should have done this 10 years ago. And when I do now, I'm like, the way I enjoy sex is like completely different. I mean, even the way my biggest turn on, if I'm honest, is to see someone being turned on. Because then I know.
By you.
Yeah. And I find it very like, I'm like, yeah, I'm loving that. So knowing that as well, like, and allowing myself to be like, oh, if I do this, or if I do that, and you can see someone reactions to it and you can play with that. It's just, I have never done that before.
How did that impact your personal life?
A lot. It's a massive difference.
In what way?
I have much more sex. No, but it's, I'm very free in my sexuality and in my sexual preference.
But does it satisfy you?
Definitely. Sweatbox, for example. Who could ever go to a gay sauna? That's terrible. That was my opinion. And I've been a member at Sweatbox for 1 year now.
Spent the whole of the last year in there every day.
No, but when you allow yourself to let go a little bit, you sit there in a sauna, and then this guy coming up and be like,
admiring you.
Yeah, not admiring me. He's saying, sit next to me. And then he's like, do you need a hand? And I was like, oh, I wasn't planning to do that. But I mean, in the end of the day, you're just enjoying yourself and your time. And I just realized that it's quite fun. When you go to saunas, it's a little bit like a meat market, and everyone's looking around for, and in my opinion, because the lighting is really dark, come on, a blowjob feels amazing regardless of who's doing it.
So do I understand correctly that your standards hasn't changed?
My standard, I mean, I think I have quite high standards in general. It hasn't really changed. It's more like that I allow them to happen.
My hypothesis was, okay, if someone becomes a popular porn star, right, you will have so much more options to choose from, and you would probably filter more people who are extremely hot like you are, right? Or it's a fantasy. And
yeah, I think they could swing both ways, to be honest, because I have approached people who I find very attractive, as in, hey, let's go for a drink, and been ignored based on my profile online. Because some people find it awkward to go out with someone who's doing porn. And obviously dating could be a little bit like, some people don't see the difference between Niklas and Zak. Because obviously Zak goes to his set and then do this, and obviously Niklas might be much more cuddly and romantic, and the emotional connection with someone is not the same as the physical. I don't always believe love and sex has to be together. You can have a random sex with someone and it doesn't mean anything. But the love you have with someone. But I think most people think differently to me and say like, oh no, love and sex is the same thing. So when you do scenes, and they get stressed about me having a sexual interaction with someone else.
Is there anything that we haven't asked you that you wish we have asked you?
I'm 8 inches.
8?
No.
Okay, we can put that bit in now.
Yeah.
I think it was awesome.
Yeah.
Really good.
Thank you. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much.